to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
All right. What's going on? Peace, family. You're now listening to the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. Today's been a really hectic week for me, and I was not able to go live this week. So, apologies about that, but I did tell you on my last broadcast, last weekend, it was a good possibility I wouldn't be going live. And sure enough, that possibility came up. So I couldn't go live, give you a live broadcast of the Narrative Podcast, but you're now listening to a full episode of the Narrative Podcast. So you're in good hands. Didn't miss much, but a lot happened in the world. But I was working on my craft, did some poetry, some new posts on my poetry blog. I think I missed a couple days. I think I missed like Wednesday, Thursday. Might have missed a Tuesday too, but I got some new pieces on my poetry blog, and I'm definitely going to be posting this this evening after I'm done recording this and uploading it. Going to post some new poems, but that's why I kind of stepped back a bit, trying to catch back up on my poetry, because I just kind of stopped being, consistent with it since like October. So I'm trying to get the consistency back on that, but I'm not going to let this consistency for the podcast go by the wayside. I'm going to still keep doing this. I'm going to try to find a balance, but yeah, that's why I didn't, do a live last week. But anyway, I got a full show for you today. My narrators, they already know the demonstration. So I'm going to walk you through a brief overview of what the Narrative Podcast is all about, for people unfamiliar with the platform, before diving into the content. So let's start at the very top. Tippy, the Narrative Podcast, start at the name. So basically, I named this podcast the Narrative Podcast because I didn't like the false narrative that the media portrays about original people and original culture. I wanted to do something, so I started this podcast. I don't like the way they portray us in a negative light, and I don't like the way they push agendas and, misappropriate our culture and our people, misappropriate our likenesses to, promote and push negativity about our people and our culture. So basically, what I want to do here on the Narrative Podcast is basically to uplift, to edify our people, and focus my lens on our people and our culture in a positive way as opposed to the negative way. Because that's kind of all the media does. They just promote, endorse negative stereotypes about our people. Promote and endorse negative stigmas. So, on my platform, it's my goal to uplift and edify. As a matter of fact, that's a perfect segue for my tagline, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time. How do I change the narrative one episode at a time? By destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So that's basically what my entire platform is dedicated to is providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. The ultimate takeaway I want my listeners to get, if nothing else from my content, is to bring awareness of how important it is to utilize your platforms wisely. Any opportunity you get to post something positive. This is why I call my target audience my narrators, because we're living in the digital age now. And basically anything you post on your platform, whatever platform or digital space you occupy, people kind of judge you based on your content. They judge your ideals, your beliefs, your value systems, who you are as a person based on what you're posting online. So, just imagine what people outside of our culture think about us, because all they're giving about our people and our culture is negative frames of reference anyway. But then here we go, feeding into these negative frames of reference by posting and feeding into gang culture, drug culture, pimp culture, whore culture, thought culture, F-boy culture, all these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media falsely weaves about our people and our culture anyway. We go and, we post it online, and people outside of our culture think that's an accurate portrayal of, who we are as a people and the types of things we do within our culture. So, it's up to all of us to post positive content anytime we get the opportunity to. So, that's basically what I do on here. I post positive content. When you're listening, you're going to get stories about leadership, entrepreneurialism, unity, coming together, peacefully resolving our differences if we have any differences. I do deliver commentary on here as well, and I'm very honest about that. But, I never try to, gossip, sling mud, or hurl insults about our people, because we catch hell on all sides. So when I do bring a celebrity's name up or a famous person's name up, it's not to clout chase or to talk bad about them. It's basically using it as a podium to, set up a point that I'm trying to make about an issue. And pretty much, everything I say on this platform, I'm targeting it from, the perspective of, how we're portrayed in the media and the powers that be, and, the agenda and all that, as far as our people is concerned, but never, to slight our brothers and sisters. So, but I do call out behavior if you gotta occupy a polarizing platform, and you're doing or saying something that got us all kind of looking and sounding crazy. I will honestly say something about that, but it's not coming from a space of judgment. It's just like telling what it is. I don't condone negative behavior either. So not trying to be perfect and saint-like, but, just trying to keep everything in an accurate perspective. As like I said previously about the media, it's their job to portray us and paint us in a certain light. Now, primarily they do this for profit margin, to gain money, but then they also do it, as a mind control type of thing. They want to market and sell us a certain way to a certain demographic, and then they also want to, submit their position in society by painting us in a certain light, placing themselves at the top of the food pyramid and everybody else beneath it. They do it to everyone, but they especially love doing it to our people because out of everybody, they're the most fearful of our people because they know their history and they know ours. And the thing they fear the most is if we ever simultaneously, as a people, got on one accord, we would turn around and do to them what they've done and what they're currently doing to us. But, it's an ill-gotten fear because that's not in our nature. That's not who we are as a people. We don't have a history of that. We've never forced our belief systems on anybody, never stolen any land from anybody. All we ever did for civilization is nurture it. We mothered and fathered civilization. Every corner of the globe our people has ever existed. All we bought was enlightenment. All we did was teach people how to survive, how to learn, how to love, how to heal. But I digress on that. And then one last thing about the media, is wicked, evil, and diabolical. They are. It's also a business. And the first rule of business is supply and demand. This is why it's so important to post positive content online. Because they do, that's how they do all their statistical research to develop product. And see, when we're posting negative content on our platforms, that's their justification to supply us with subpar product, i.e. crappy television shows, crappy movies, music, literature, depicting our likenesses in a negative light. Because they're just going based off, what people are posting online, what people are clicking on. That's how they equate our people. How they should, what they should market to us and sell to us, and how they should market and sell us. And like how we should be perceived in the eye of the public, like how people outside of our culture should perceive us. But again, that's their job to do that. And it should be our jobs to try to, change the narrative of how they perceive us and how they try to make other people perceive us. It's not about caring about how people outside of our culture perceive us. This podcast is just basically saying, if you're going to tell our story, tell it correctly. Couple more things before diving into the content. On this platform, I refer to our people as original people. I'm done giving the lectures because this is also a platform where I try to be time sensitive. I don't ever want to exceed 1 hour. Because when I first started podcasting, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to talk about. And I took a little step back and looked at my content and decided I want to uplift and empower, my people. What is the most efficient, effective way to do that? And the most efficient, effective way to do that is get straight to the point. Like nobody wants to listen to somebody, no matter how much knowledge you have, no matter how vast your vocabulary is. Nobody wants to sit up and listen to somebody drone on hours and hours and hours. Now, there are some exceptions to that rule. We do have some very wise elders within our community that we can, get a lot from. So we would definitely, there are some people that you would want to, pray to everything you believe in, to be fortunate enough to get an inside seat on one of their webinars or lectures. But, for the average person, our attention spans are just like 0.3 seconds. So, being direct and keeping the platform, the content, the time frame short, this will give me a chance to cover a wide array of topics in a short amount of time, and also keep me from going down rabbit holes and, going on side tangents. Just, talk about what I want to talk about. Just basically, I'm using the KISS formula. Keep it simple, silly. Like that's, basically what I'm using on here. So in short, I'm not trying to be, so intellectual. I'm shooting over people's heads, but then I also don't want to dumb myself down. So I'm like right in that middle pocket of knowledge. If I would say anything, I would say like my place in this movement, I'm like the drive time DJ of consciousness. Like I would say that. Like I give you a lot in a little bit of time, and you can digest it, and it flows nicely. It's cohesive. You don't have to clear your entire schedule to listen to an episode, and I'm also not losing you on anything. So, you can be informed and aware, and have it well in tow that, you're not crazy, you're not imagining how things are. It's like, it's universal across the board over here. It's a good, feel-good vibe. It's an empowerment vibe. You feel good after listening to this content, and we need to feel good because we have so many things that's, targeted at us and, bombarding us with all this negativity. So you need this type of content. Something to affirm to your subconscious of who you are. And you are royalty. So, that's what I'm bringing to the table with the Narrator podcast. I think I covered all my bases. So without any further ado, so also, for the time restrictions that I set for this podcast, I have all my content broken down into sections. I describe each section as I come to them. And so without any further ado, let's get underway. Diving right on into the content. First section is the content or promotional section. And then with this section, what I'm doing is I'm giving original people that own or operate their own business the opportunity to reach out to me to get their business, product, brand, service, events promoted via my platform, the Narrator Podcast, 110% for free. And the reason why I'm doing that is to do my part to help circulate the original people dollar within the original people community. While we are due reparations, it's up to each and every one of us to, support businesses, make businesses known, use the platforms to make businesses known, or like support it with your own money, but like make, people aware that the business exists so they can support. You can't support something that you don't know exists. So that's basically what the promotional section of the Narrative podcast is about, making original people-owned businesses known and, recruiting and trying to inspire people to support. So without any further ado, here's the information you will need if you would like some free promotion from me, Halsey Allen, on the Narrative Podcast. Please hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host, and in the subject bar, type promo. In the body of the email, make sure to include everything you want me to know about your business, product, service. Be specific as possible. If you have an actual, brick and mortar spot, the address, the capacity, how much does the space hold? Do you rent out the space? Everything, any type of detail you want me to know about your business, make sure you include it. The more accurate you are, the better promotional advertisement I can provide for you. So I can make it, pretty it up and make it sound real good and enticing, and make people want to patronize your business, product, service, or attend your event, whatever you got going on. So I'm going to run it back one more time before going on to the next section. So for free promotion, hit me up, Halsey Allen, at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type promo, body of the email, and make sure to include everything you want me to know about yourself, business, product, or service. Be specific as possible. And once again, I'm doing it for 110% free. You have nothing to lose, only something to gain. You're only going to gain customers. Like, I do have a following, not a huge following, but every little bit helps, right? All right, on to the next section. My next section is called the contest section. And this section is basically an incentive reward. Basically, like, I'm incentivizing, people to listen to my podcast by offering a free prize. And the free prize is a bulk supply of their favorite snack, and I'm giving that away. Snack food item. I'm giving that away just for listening to the podcast. So it's basically just an incentive reward, or if you've been listening, to continue to listen, because no telling what I give away next. But for right now, it's just a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item. I'm using the exact same email address that I just used for the promotional drop. The only difference with this is I'm separating the two through the subject bar. So to enter the contest to win a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item, pay attention to the subject bar. So here's what you need to type in the subject bar to enter this contest that I'm running. So the name of the contest is called the Chew on This contest. And I call it the Chew on This because the prize is a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item. And the topic is your most recent shopping while black experience. So to enter the Chew on This contest, please hit me up, Halsey Allen, at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. Now here's the tricky part. Subject bar, type Chew on This /or-promo. And if you do not want to type the entire word Chew on This, or shopping while black, type SWB in all caps. So in the subject bar, type Chew on this /or - shopping while black, or SWB in all caps. Body of the email, make sure you include your mailing address, of course, your most recent shopping while black experience, and then tell me what type of snack food item you would like for your prize. Very simple. I'm not charging an entry fee. And once again, the reason why I'm doing it is an incentive reward. Incentivize you to listen to my podcast or keep listening to the podcast if you've been listening since day one. So I'm gonna run it back one more time before diving into the next section of the Narrator podcast. So once again, to enter this contest, get you on this contest, hit me up, Halsey Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. Subject bar, type chew on this /or - shopping while black, or if you don't want to type the entire word, shopping while black, SWB in all caps. Body of the email, make sure to include your mailing address so I know where to send your prize, your most recent shopping while black experience, and then what type of snack food item you would like as a prize. Thank you very much. So that's it, and that's all. On to the next section here on the Narrator podcast. This section is called the highlight section. And in this section, I'm doing something very similar I just did. Starting out with the promotional section. This section is I'm highlighting existing businesses owned and operated by original men and original women. The purpose of me doing this is, I'm getting people to, creating the healthy habit to promote businesses. Then also, I'm creating a positive space in which to walk you through an entrepreneur's journey. So I'm sharing the positive frame of reference of entrepreneurialism. I feel the need to do that because we don't have many frames of reference, is far and few in between. The way it's depicted on television, about shows about entrepreneurs in our community, usually the television producers focus the lens on them through a negative perception. They focus the lens through toxicity, through stereotypical propaganda about our people and our culture. They play up all the negative things. They play up so much negativity, you forget what the show embodies. And the show is supposed to embody entrepreneurialism. It's supposed to embody a regular 9-to-5er starting their own business and employing people within their community, employing people within their family. But all you see on television is the fighting, the name calling, getting drunk, getting high on camera, just all lewd acts of degeneracy, no dignity, no decorum. Just basically a hot mess on camera. So that's one of the good things about this platform. It's an all-audio platform, first and foremost. But that's essentially what I'm doing in this podcast. I'm walking you through an entrepreneur's journey, telling you, how they got their start, telling you their unique story, what says, their journey, what they started out with, how they came up with the idea, name of the product, year it got established, their birthplace, any factors that would make for a good biopic type thing. So basically I'm giving you a biopic type situation in the highlight section, and also, creating the healthy habit of, promoting a brothers and sisters business product, brand or service. Some qualifying factors of the types of people that I highlight in the highlight section are, they give back, they're original people, so Black, aka Black. Oh, that's something I forgot to. Did I say that? Yeah, I try to refer to our people as original people on my platform as opposed to Black. But, to keep it time sensitive, every once in a blue moon, I just say Black to clear confusion. But, I try to break the bad habit of calling ourselves Black. I'm not going to give you a history lesson behind that, but, we are original people. We was here first. We was the original man and woman of this planet, and we inhabited every single corner of the globe. First, we was there first originally, but I digress. So basically, that's what I'm saying about that. A Black person's journey as an entrepreneur, their upbringing, where they grew up at, where they went to school. When I have that type of information, sometimes I don't have that information. But the definitely qualifying factors is they have their own business, they hire their own. Most of the people I highlight in the highlight section are family-owned and operating endeavors, meaning I'm giving you the positive frame of reference about generational wealth. Also, they give back. People that I highlight in the highlight section, they give back to the community. They either have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into one. And the last qualifying factor, they align up with my theme. And my current theme is the season of fall. Now that I've broken it down, diving right on into the first section here on the Narrative Podcast, the authentic first section. The first two was just a warm up, but this is basically, the meat of my podcast. So, like I said, it's the season of fall, and the weather is changing, especially if you live in the 4 season states. Yeah, these are summer, winter, fall. Summer, winter, fall. Spring. Okay, that's the 4th one. Yeah, 4 seasons. 4 season state. And having said that, since the weather is changing, you're going to need some apparel to brave the temperature change. Because I don't know about you, but I kind of like fall weather because it's like long sleeve shirt. You could wear a jacket, if you want to, some jeans, long sleeves. No hot and sweating. You ain't perspiring as much, with the exception if you live down south. But here in the States, it's pretty much just cooling off. And to keep you a little warm, because it's getting a little chilly now, you probably need, was my logic, hoods. It's hoodie season in the fall. So next few businesses that I will be highlighting in the highlight section. Highlighting in the highlight section. Okay. I had to do a check 1, 2 because my screen disappeared. Are businesses that specialize in, streetwear apparel, mainly hoodies. Like they got a little bit of everything, but they mainly focus on hoodies. But Without any further ado, the first business I'll be highlighting on the highlight section of the Narrator podcast is social theory. Social theory was established in 2017. Did I forget to write his name down? Oh, I don't think he has a name. It's like a group co-op type thing. It was founded on the principle to create apparel centered around positive images. They advertise on Instagram, or you can go to socialtheory.co and you can see their mission statement and the areas of and where they want to focus their business. But basically they're like me. They understand the concept of visuals and what that does to the subconscious. And so what they wanted to do, their main focal point of their brand, is to put out positive frames of reference, positive imagery about our people. So like with their brand, you will see like product with like logos like saying king or queen or god or goddesses, stuff like that. Something powerful, something impactful, something that makes you feel good when you instantly put it on. Let me just go right to their site right quick to give you a better, a broader sense of what I mean. So like right when you get through it at their site, socialtheory.co, not .com. Don't put that .com in there. And so their mission statement, right when you get to the site, says Black first. Because of my blackness defines me before anything else has the chance to, and I'm okay with that. So, that's what they're doing. In the first one of their products you see right when you go to their site is a hat that says king on it, and the eye is in the shape of Africa. And then scrolling down a little bit more, you see Black love is power. And you can go. And then they also have an affiliate market program. It's closed right now, but do your Googles about affiliate marketing. It's an excellent side hustle. When you do it correctly, do your due diligence and know how to work your social media, you can generate a nice, healthy little lump sum. But so we can go scrolling on over into the about section and get the reading down. So they said they started the company with the desire to create apparel centered around positive images. So that's essentially like, the logic behind my podcast. This is like why I chose to highlight that particular business. They get it, like what imagery does to your subconscious. And so the media is always, forcing and bombarding us with negative images about our people and our culture. So that was their, reasoning behind creating their brand. They wanted to counter that with some positive. They wanted to basically reverse that cycle and empower us as a people with some positive images. Check 1, check 2. Yeah, I'm still here. What else does it say here on this site? So yeah, I already said they founded it in 2017. Their goal is to create a feel-good brand that's undeniably for us. The shift they're creating will embed, get it? Keyword, embed the message in the details, allowing the design and execution to be front and centered, while our purpose remains at the forefront. And their purpose is to create an atmosphere of positivity. So basically, like all their, apparel in their line is basically a positive affirmation that you're wearing, like a positive outward extension of who you are as a person. So they got stuff that says like king and queen, and I just read you one of the t-shirt logos, Black is Love. Here you go, click on this other tab, social agenda, that support things like mental health month. They also promote other Black-owned businesses. So definitely support this company. It doesn't say, I will try to dig all over social media or try to dig all over the internet to find out the names. I even typed in like interview, the names of the people, all the people involved with this, but all that came up was it's a Black-owned business, but definitely support Social Theory Co. So give a warm narrative round of applause for Social Theory Co. All right, the next business that I'll be highlighting in the highlight section is 10D. Now this wasn't, there wasn't a whole lot about this, but it was established by a man named Scott Sasso. And that's another kind of innovative line. It's actually capturing the inventor's persona, actually. And his persona is multifaceted. He's a designer. He wears a lot of hats. He's like basically a mogul. He produces film, music videos, any type of media you can think of, he does it. Plus he does, runway shows and just all kinds of things. So, wearing something designed by a person like that will help create a sense of urgency in your life. Not saying that you will become talented like him, like to become talented is something, doesn't, mean just stop working at it. That just means like, as the old saying goes, you got to look the part. And wearing that brand will help you look the part of somebody that's busy and, will inspire you to be busy, have a sense of urgency about yourself, whether it's, working a 9 to 5 job or, trying to get whatever you're trying to do to pop off. And so he only advertises on Instagram and he's at 10 Deep on Instagram. And then you got to go to, now this website's a little confusing because it doesn't say 10 Deep. Misleading was the word I was searching for. It's a little misleading because it doesn't have anything to do with the product. I mean, it does. It shows the product when you go to the site, but I'm not understanding why you didn't just name 10deep.com, but you go to swaggerlikeme.com and then you go 10 Deep stuff will pop up. So I'm going to go right now and just make sure I covered all my bases. Anything important I want you to know about the product. So when you go to his page, it's a little more abstract, his vision. So it's like more Gen Zer. I don't see nobody from my age bracket getting jiggy with it unless they're trying to revisit their youth. But it's got a lot of vivid designs on it. I guess with the times, this new era of hip hop. So they got beanies, but all types of hats, fitteds, beanies, buckets. But like I said, the main focal point was the hoodies. They got a pretty nice hoodie. One just with the 10 Deep logo, and then they got another one with clouds. So, yeah. It's more abstract than anything, but still, that artistic feel, that gets you to conceptualize and think out of the box and get the creative juices flowing. This is what he's attempting with this line. And I think he's pulling it off nicely. So join me into giving a warm narrative podcast round of applause with Scott Sasso and the 10 Deep line. And last but not least, in the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast is a business called Adversary. So not advisory, it's just it's spelled a little weird. I guess it's a branding thing, but it's ADVISRY. And it's you got to go to Instagram, and then from Instagram, they got the link to their. No, that ain't it. Let me see. It's located out in California. But basically, so the founder, his name is Keith Huron, and he founded the project in 2012. It's in California, and that part of California, you know, everything is like the revolution, the movements. So his brand kind of captures that. They definitely hire their own. It's real creative, integrative band. You got to check it out and support them brothers. They hire their own. They also, you know, promote other businesses and, you know, got their hands in a whole lot of other projects. But definitely support Adversary. And that's just how it's spelled, Advisory, not advisory. So it's, like I said, it's like a branding type thing. Not quite sure what the name means exactly, but the product is unique. It'll make you feel good about yourself. You will look nice. It's not like slouchy. They actually got a dress line too on a different site. But go check that brother out, and that'll do it for the highlight section of the Narrator Podcast. All right, on to the next section of the Narrator Podcast. This section is called the Spotlight section. And what I'm doing in this section is I'm spotlighting public, polarizing figures within our community. And what I'm doing is spotlighting prominent figures within our community. Essentially, I'm giving prominent figures within our community the roses, why they're here. What I'm also doing in this section is creating the sense of urgency about utilizing your platform to say something positive about a brother or sister instead of denigrating them and running them down, because we're the only group of people to get online and just speak real foul, real nasty about people. And I think we've been kind of tricked into that. You know, the bag is substantial that they offer to crucify each other online rather than coming together and unite and say something positive and be positive together, you know, stand together in solidarity. You know, we always sitting up there utilizing our platforms to say something negative about each other. So yeah, what I want to do is create the healthy habit of, you know, saying something nice about your brother or sister rather than raking each other over the coals that we do online. And then also, you know, create the healthy habit of saying something nice about a brother or sister online, celebrating their accomplishments and for all they bring to the table. Yeah, so in the past, what I've done, the types of people that I would spotlight have been entertainers, people like that are actors, actresses, recording artists, comedians, public figures, social media influencers, things of that nature. I've been trying to get away from that lately because I don't want to, like, you know, fall into this negative stereotype. The only, you know, types of greatness within our community is in the entertainment industry. So I've been lately trying to spotlight just, regular people doing extraordinary things, but I might start highlighting celebrities again because, a lot of entertainers within our community, especially in the hip hop genre, they get a really bad rap. They're always in the media for something negative, like going to jail or, beating somebody up or carrying a gun or something like that. When in reality, they do a lot of giving back, a lot of philanthropy. But again, the media trying to twist and warp that perception of us. But anyway, so yeah, those are usually the genres of people that I spotlight in the spotlight section. But, before diving in to the spotlight of the week here on the Narrator podcast, I gotta, traditionally toot my own horn about the spotlight section, meaning I created the way for spotlighting, because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. Now every time you go to YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast from, or like daytime talk shows now, it's like, this week spotlight on this person, or we'll be spotlighting this, that, and the third. But nobody was spotlighting anybody until I added a spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast. Make some noise for me. Also, yeah, I create the way for spotlight. I know it seems like I'm being braggadocious, but to see so many people doing it now, it makes me feel good. It lets me know somebody's listening to my podcast, that my message is getting across to everybody that I'm trying to send. Like everybody's picking up on the message that I'm putting out. So yeah, I'm causing waves with my podcast, that even though nobody's just plainly coming out say, I mess with Halsey Allen in the Narrator podcast and, trying to reach out to me. But, the proof's in the pudding. Everybody's spotlighting now. So, that's good, because I was trying to attempt to create the healthy habit of, spotlighting our brothers and sisters here on the Narrative podcast, and respecting each other, and saluting each other and speaking positively about one another, rather than always name calling and denigrating, doing what they want us to do to each other, doing their job for them basically. But anyway, yeah.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. All right. So, without no further ado, the spotlight goes to, on this week in the spotlight section, the spotlight goes to Mr. Clyde A. Ray. And this brother is 70 plus years old, or young. He is a phenomenal writer, director, producer. He's more resoundingly known for his poetry. So he's a poet. In case you didn't know, I write poetry too. So, he's like a national treasure, a cultural icon. He's like right up there with the greats. He's like right up there with, Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou and like Gil Scott, and he's out that branch of articism with poetry. And his poetry basically, it matriculates our story as a people, especially our people like right here in America, the American experience. Like you can just like literally just go through his whole catalog and find a piece that you can resonate from then all the way up until now. And just how vividly he paints his brush. There's nothing short of masterful. He got stories for, the ages. He's definitely an ancestor in the movement. His work is legendary. If you know. More people should be talking about him. I don't know why they're not. He's gave us so much, but, I'm giving him his roses this week here on the Narrative Podcast. I can go on for hours, but then I will be violating my time restraints. Literally, I could just like go on a side tangent just for the first 1 year of his work, but I'm not. So please join me in giving the warmest round of applause for our brother, our elder, Clyde A. Weary. I've been saying Weary. I think it's just Ray. It's W-R-E-Y. So forgive me for that if I mispronounce his last name. All right. Now on to the next section of the Narrative Podcast section. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. And what this health section is designed for is self-explanatory. It is just what it sounds like, is health and wellness tips. So yeah, basically that's what this section of the Narrative Podcast is about, is just health and wellness tips. Now my podcast is for anybody to listen to, but just know all the content on here, my target audience, my niche, my what do they call it? I guess target audience. I already said target audience. My listeners, my main listeners. I forgot the word I was trying to say, but basically the people I'm talking to first on my podcast is my people, original people. And the reason I feel, to add a health and wellness section is because, war has been declared on our health, on our specific health. Like it's dangerous, the things they're doing to everybody. But, out of everybody, they want us out of the way the most. And war has been waged on us physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, but I don't teach financial tips on here, because from my perspective, health is wealth. And so if I'm covering spiritual, giving you spiritual tips, that covers finances too, because being broke is a spiritual disease. Now it's up to each individual what you prize yourself in life, what you want and need and desire, but all that. But essentially, I'm teaching or telling people, giving people tips to armor up in all the areas we're being attacked. And like I said, we're being attacked physically, mentally, and spiritually. So, I'm giving tips to stay armored up. So like, physically, because they're putting stuff in our food, our air, our water, household items we use every day. Things we come in contact, surface areas we come in contact with. So yeah. So like for an example of a physical, health and wellness tip, it'll be something like, something, the health benefits of a, fruit, a vegetable, a plant, an herb, an extract that you can ingest or apply topically to improve your health. Or some type of physical exercise that you can perform to keep you in peak physical condition. Mental side of it, such as, mindfulness, mindful breathing, doing shadow work, meditation. And I think last week I talked about grounding, so stuff like that improve your overall mental health. Spiritual things, such as, again, meditation, because meditation is spiritual. But, prayer and other religious and spiritual practices, that you can incorporate to, improve or aid you in, fortifying your spirit from, being spiritually attacked. And believe me, there are some dark demonic forces out there. And it's, wreaking havoc within our community. Lastly, every once in a blue moon, I might hit you with something, with some type of, I might throw a curveball in. I might do some like, divine law, quantum law, metaphysics, law of attraction type stuff, esoteric type stuff, something you can use in that realm. But today we will be focusing on the physical side of it. Today, in the health and wellness section of the Narrator podcast, I'm going to give you the health benefits of the passion fruit. And the passion fruit, upon first glance, is kind of similar to a plum or a prune. If you ever seen a prune in the wild, like, well, I guess a plum is a prune, but it's kind of, it's spherical, circular. It's not very dense in texture. It's like almost like hollow when you touch it. It isn't until you break it apart that you find a fleshy pulp. And for what I remember about custard, it's like when you taste it, it has a custardy consistency. I mean, you can just puncture the fruit and then slurp it like that, but the best way, most people just get it like a spoon and scoop it. It's really tart and tangy, has a lot of seeds, but it is jam-packed and loaded with all kinds of health benefits. Some people say it's a superfood, but it's anti-inflammatory. And so Dr. Sebi says, inflammation is the root cause of disease. When the area in the body becomes inflamed, and all kinds of other, it just gets more serious from there, gone untreated. So you always want to incorporate foods with anti-inflammatory properties into your diet. It helps regulate blood sugar. It helps boost your immune system. Rich in vitamin C, rich in vitamin A, rich in vitamin K, rich in fiber. So it's a good, if you're trying to watch your weight, it's rich in fiber. It makes you feel full. And it also has antioxidant properties, which means it helps burn fat. Clears your skin, helps clear your skin up. Good for the skin, good for the hair, good for the nails. The only real down, the down side of it is it's extremely tart. But if you drink alcohol, you can definitely eat passion fruit. If you can smoke a marijuana cigarette or a blunt, you can eat passion fruit. If you eat some chitterlings, you can make do with the sour tart taste. There's so many other nasty, disgusting things we put in our mouth, but we eat it or drink it anyway. Stuff that can harm us. I think you can bypass the tartness of the passion fruit to help you, have a prolonged life. You can do some amazing things with it in the culinary world that make, purees out of it, add a little sweetener to it, some agave nectar to sweeten it. Looks real pretty on a plate if you do it right, presentation wise. But it's loaded with all kinds of health benefits. Do your own due diligence and research the health benefits of the passion fruit. You'll live longer. It's definitely an acquired taste. It'll take you a little bit of getting used to the tartness, but I think the health benefits outweigh the tart taste. So, get you some passion fruit in your life today. All right, next on the Narrator podcast, I'm almost nearing the end because I only have one more section after this section. This section is speaking points of the day, and basically this section is just commentary. I'm commentating on current events, things either going on around the world globally or things exclusively within our community. And basically I'm delivering commentary based on, how it impacts us. I'm unpacking whatever is going on in the world through our eyes as it pertains to us, how it might affect us, how it may or does impact us as a people. And the purpose of me doing this in this section, I'm controlling the narrative by delivering commentary because the media goes out of their way to have us, looking and sounding 10 types of crazy. They'll do and say, they'll twist and flip the narrative until, we're looking unintelligent and just, looking downtrodden and have us, just having us looking real degenerate out here in these streets. But, in my commentary, I try to empower us and unpack and say something positive and, unpack it from a positive standpoint. And then once again, before diving into the content, if I mention anybody's name, if I say anything, it's not negative, it's honest. I call it like it is. I say what it is, but I'm not trying to, drag a brother or sister through the mud. I'm just saying, speaking on the image that they're projecting and they're portraying as it pertains to all of us. If I ever do name dropping, sometimes it's in the good way, or sometimes I just in the position of where I have to be honest about it. I mean, completely, bluntly honest about, whatever they're doing or whatever they're saying and how that, makes us look as a people. And spoiler alert, I do have to talk about a certain person today. But I got a wider range of topics I'm going to talk on for the next couple minutes. So let's get to it. First topic, Sukihana. So Sukihana is a hip hop artist, and she's known for, having over the top explicit lyrics, always in the media doing something risque, twerking, or saying something like super left field, super out of pocket, sexually, that can be perceived as sexually deviant. So I'm not attacking her as a person. I don't even know this sister. The reason why I'm bringing up her most recent, carpeted event, I've already spoken about the inherent agenda to portray our sisters in a negative light, especially in the hip hop genre. Projecting this over sexualized image, always going out of their way to, have them nude, completely nude, semi-nude, exposing their genitalia, exposing their, breasts, exposing their vagina, exposing their backsides. And, today, with our female entertainers in the, craft of acting, in the craft of recording, R&B, rap, hip hop, they're over sexualized. And their stories translates every time I see, up and coming female entertainer from our community these days, it reminds automatically how, they're being marketed to the mainstream audience. It's almost like, it mirrors the story of Sarah Baartman. And do your Googles on Sarah Baartman. Sarah Baartman was, straight from, the transatlantic slave trade, chattel slavery and all that. She wound up over in Europe, where they essentially made her a sideshow freak because they hadn't seen a woman with her bodily dimensions. She had, the big booty before the big booty was a thing, the big broad lips, big thick thighs. Sarah Baartman, they did sculptures of what she looked like, did cartoon characters of what she looked like. And basically she was thicker than a Snicker. Like, she had that type of physique that the Caucasian colonizers would lust after. I guess what you would call, like, they would fetishize about her. Have sick sexual deviant fantasies about groping her derriere, her breasts, and other nasty things to her. And that's precisely, what I think about, our sisters, how they're being portrayed in the media, how they're being marketed these days. Their, presence is similar to Sarah Baartman. And they ended up, by the way, making her an actual living sideshow freak. Like, they put her in a cage, fed her like an animal, and then somehow in their contract ended up, if you paid a cover charge, you can go in there and have sex with her. When she died, she had over 30 communicable diseases, and she had tumors on her derriere. So she already had a big butt. When she died, it spread even wider. Almost like, how all these females are getting the Brazilian butt lifts, like but that was her natural backside. It swelled up to like 3 to 4 times bigger than what it already was because of all the diseases that was festering up inside of her. Because them sick, filthy beasts was molesting her and not, even taking care of her feminine hygiene. Because them Europeans, we introduced them to like soap and water and cologne anyway. So like they was dying over there in Europe off of not bathing themselves properly. So you can just imagine that sister's life coming from a land where they had herbs and, botanicals to handle that situation. But anyway, in the case of our sister Sukiana, like the last time I seen her, she was like in the media talking about she had just touched down, I believe, over in Europe somewhere, like London, or I think it was like London or London, England, or something like that. And she was like talking about she's gonna get her vagina stretched and eat some butt. Like, it's a real disturbing image. So I'm not even going to go there on her per se, because we know what's at play. They slid her a bag, and we're living in the era of sensationalism. So that's the perspective, I'm unpacking her, the way she carries and conducts herself. These media devils like make that real bag really heavy for our sisters to demean themselves. Like they literally got them crawling on all fours. Like it's just really deplorable in hip hop now. Like every time a hip hop beat comes on now, like our sisters sit up there, drop it low to the floor. Some of them don't be wearing underwear, really short, skirts, mini skirts. Don't even be having on underwear. No, brassiere, like, so breasts popping out, exposed vagina. Just really, I don't know no other way to describe the gyrations. Just really on stage like a dog in heat. Now I know what you want to say, like, well, the men in hip hop, they've been doing it for years. They're walking around with their pants sagging and grabbing their meat and grabbing their testicles and pelvic thrusting on stage. And that you would be right. But here's the thing, you're not a man. So it's already deplorable for us men to conduct ourselves. You're not a man. That's not the nature of a woman, a real woman, to be like that. So while you can empower yourself in a woman coming to the table, being very clear and mature about what type of interaction you want from a man, whether it's a long, committed relationship, whether it's just casual relations. It's all in the approach. It's all how it's packaged. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely ain't no judgment, but this is a bad look to believe that's the wave now. Because these is what our nieces and our little cousins and our little daughters is looking up to. This is what they think they have to do, is wear a short skirt or have a big butt to get male attention, to get a man to notice them, to get a man to purchase them something, dinner or drinks or, whatever. And this also sets up the stage for, you know, our young ladies to get stalked and sex trafficked. Our young ladies get snatched up because they're sitting up there at 12, 13, 14 talking to a grown-ass man on the internet, and he done slid into her DMs. He's, you know, breaking her off, like sending her Postmates some wing dinners, wing platters, sending her red bottoms, you know, and the designer, and now he got her. You know, grown man, she 14, 15, 16, and now, you know, she put her fish on the, you know, out there on Instagram, busted it open for the gram, showed him what he wanted to see. And now it's time to seal the deal. He done been sending her cash apps. We're going to sit up, we're going to do this or what, you know what I mean? That's what that type of behavior is setting the stage up for. So whatever you want to do in your own personal life, however you want to, you know, present yourself to the world, that's your business. But when it affects our children, our babies, then that's our business as a community, and we got to check you for that. In the beginning of hip hop, like, it was, the female presence in hip hop was prestigious. It was regal. You know, the female MC was more just as revered as the man, but it was almost, you know, the way they carried and conducted themselves back then. You want to protect them. You want to watch your mouth around them, what you say in front of them. You know, because you're talking to a lady. Now these days, it's just like, you know, the Mac game, from the way they perceive themselves is, or portray themselves, is like, man, what's up, bitch? What's up? I got some money. What we trying to do? Shit. You know? Like, let's even talk about the hip-hop dancing back in the day. Yeah, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, you know, they had risque outfits, but it was more alluring. It's like, you know, the hip-hop dancer was more of an interpretive dancers. What you saw back in the day was women in, like, spandex bodysuits, you know, head to toe, like covering it, everything up. It was like, it was revealing, but it was like a spandex suit, and they would usually just kind of wave and, like, you know, because the director, they was symbolic of whatever the male MC was rhyming about. They was supposed to be like money. If he was rapping about money, the female would be, you know, on the side of it, alluding to the fact, you know, she symbolized money, or if he was his jewelry or his car or whatever, the female was symbolic of that. You know, she was symbolic of opulence, of, you know, wanting to ascend to a higher echelon, not to, you know, engage in lewd, deplorable acts and just be filthy mouthed and you know, just be lewd for no reason. I'm talking about, when you're talking about the mantle hip hop, you're talking about people like Queen Latifah. You're talking about people like Moni Love. You're talking about people like Melanie B. You're talking about people like Heather B. You're talking about people like shoot, I can go on and on. Even Salt and Pepper, there was more, you know, there was more party based with their lyrics and their what they were saying. They was doing some hip hop dances that could have back then be considered a little risque, but they wasn't just full on twerking. Initially in the beginning, they had jumpsuits like the guys, track suits. Their looks kind of over the years evolved. They had more revealing outfits. And start talking about more, but they was doing it in a poetic sense. It was like there was some artisanship behind that. They was talking about safe sex. They was talking about, how to be pleasured, but not making it just full on raunchy. There was leading up to it. There was leaving something to the imagination. There was kind of connect the dots, you know what I mean? And now it's just in your face. You can't unsee it. You had people later that came in later, like people like Queen Miss Lauryn Hill. Okay, then Missy Elliott. Then you had Bahamadia. You had Raw Digger. You had on the West Coast you had Yo-Yo. You had the Conscious Daughters. It was consciousness was in their name, the Conscious Daughters. Like, come on. We done fell far from grace. Speaking of consciousness, sisters like Isis. And then it just slowly kind of starts snowballing. Then sisters start getting a little racy. Then we got Kim. Then we, got Foxy. Then later on, Queen Pen. Then, the door's open now. And then then we get then we start getting a little, Trina. Then we start getting the, and then it just explosion. It just started, it was literally like a little snowball of the sexiness. And then before it just became oversaturated with just full on, raunchiness and ratchetness. And again, not bashing any of them sisters that I named. I'm not trying to drag and denigrate anybody, but we need to see more artisanship and less ass. Oh, and then I forgot to mention Shantae. Roxanne Shantae, just females just was beasting about the craft. It was about the craft, writing, being good or better than the men. That's what that was about. The physical side of it came from them filthy beasts, the marketing. Okay, because sex sells, right? We're going to put her in a skimpy outfit. We're going to put her in some shorts to show her butt cheeks. We're going to put her in the outfit that exposes one breast or a nipple. And then later on, the way hip hop is going, and you want to start going to these hip hop concerts, you're going to see a female recording artist pull a guy out the audience and give him fellatio on stage in front of everybody, or bring out a bed and have one of her male dancers sit down, lay down in the bed with him chained to the bed, and she gonna pull his penis out and ride him in front of 30-40 million people. It's you can't even, are they recording artists or porn stars now? You can't even differentiate no more. And as I say over and over and over again on my platform, it makes sense when it's in context. When you put it in context, does it make sense? Is the art form there? Like, if you are an exotic dancer, aka stripper, your nakedness makes sense. Your presence online, then that makes sense. If you're promoting, yourself as a stripper, you strip for a living. You go to strip clubs. You enter strip competitions. You do private bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. No judgment. That's the era we're living in. You're a stripper. Makes sense. It don't make sense if I'm always seeing you naked and you're a Hollywood actress. It don't make sense if I'm always seeing you naked and you're an R&B singer or a rapper. It don't make sense. It makes sense if you are an Instagram model and you do a little back page work and like that's what you do. You do private cam shows. Then that makes sense. Your nakedness makes sense. It makes sense if you are a nude model. Now you can be super duper classy with the nudity. Like you can be one of them people to go up to the college campuses and they paint you in abstract or, do the body paint and you're a flower or you're a tiger or, something like that resembles art, something that resembles nature. You know what I mean? That makes sense. But if you just naked just to be naked, you a nudist. You're not a rapper. You're not an actress, a Hollywood actress. And by no means am I holier than thou and acting like I wouldn't look if I saw it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just getting ridiculous. And again, clarifying one more again, there ain't no personal attack on Sukihana, ain't no personal attack on Cardi B, Dirt Little Red, whatever that sister's name is, all the new up and coming hip hop artists. Like, it ain't no personal attack on none of them. This is just saying, I'm just simply saying, like, it's become a sad situation how this industry has manipulated our sisters into allowing them to market their flesh. That's just what, the industry execs are doing, is just peddling their flesh. Like literally marketing them as like pieces of meat. And it's sad. So we definitely got to start coming together as a community. We got to show interest in, sisters that's actually talking about something that's rhyming, that got conscious content. Because there's sisters out there with conscious content, with the intellect, with the artisanship. They play instruments, they can rhyme, they can sing. And we not supporting, and they're actually talking about something, social issues, political social issues, things that will enhance your intelligence. But we're not supporting them. We're just, every time the beat drop, they dropping low to the floor. They're laying straight on their back, spreading it. Open ego, drop, like spread ego on the videos. Pushing they thong to the side in magazine spreads. Like, that's the era we living in, the busted open for the gram era. Now it ain't even busted for the gram, it's just busted because it's mine and I can do what I want to, and if you don't like it, don't look. You know what I mean? Like our sisters sitting up there paying thousands of dollars for BBLs. And half of them don't even be matching their torso. They're walking around distorting and mutilating their body to fit this image of what beauty is. And beauty within our community is the big booty. I mean, always kind of been, but now when the powers that be, when it's become oversaturated, like a sister, if she didn't have one, you know, she got other features. If she's like super slender, as they say, slim thick, she's slim thick. She don't have a big derriere, but she's just beautiful. She glides in the room and she's content with her body shape. Now you can't be content with your body shape no more. You have to sit up there and inject Botox into your lips. Can't even damn blink. Can't move your mouth. Look like the Joker from the first Batman movie. The OG 80 movie. It's sad, man. It's sad. We got to stand up as a community and like reclaim the culture back. And like I said again, no disrespect to our sisters that's rhyming in that genre of music, but we got to tone it down. We got our young ladies that's looking at that, emulating that. Like we gotta do some damage control on that image. And speaking of image, we are kings and queens. We gods and goddesses of the universe. You dig? We come out that house, we supposed to be, you know, if we man, clean shaven, walking with some sense of urgency, even if we ain't got nowhere to be. Look, showing up, looking the part, because you don't never know what opportunities will present themselves. Not crust coming all out your eyes and corners of your mouth and looking like you just rolled out of bed. Pants sagging all the way down to your kneecap. Bacon strips in your drawers. Nah, king. And then sisters not sitting up here leaving the house like your outfit's too little if I can see your vajayjay. Them pants is too tight if I can see your vajayjay. Like, you know, the contours and like literally like where it splits open. If I can see all that, I'm seeing too much. If I can see your butt, bare naked breasts, I'm seeing too much. Wrapped up in them blankets and like that ain't us. And then clarify one more time before I get off this subject. So this isn't an attack on twerking, because twerking is, you know, in our culture too. It predates, you know, before pee-popping, before, you know, the gyrations. Those within our culture that women have always did those type of gyrations at celebratory events such as weddings and other tribal rituals and things of that nature, but not just sitting up out there for everyday use. Just every time you hear a beat, you got to get on camera, you know, jumping on top of tables for no reason, jumping on top of people's cars for no reason. Not saying you can't be adventurous and have fun and be wild and spontaneous, but it's not even so much as a class thing. It's a maturity thing. It's a discernment thing. Know when it's appropriate and when it's not appropriate. So that's all I want to say on that. And again, I wasn't bashing the sister or any like female MCs in that genre, but the symbolism, like image, really is everything. You are judged on how you look, and that looks bad. That's a bad look, to be over sexualized. Because it's real hard walking around dressed like that. If you mess around and do get sexually assaulted, who's going to believe you? Who's going to believe somebody try to rape you and you walking around talking about, yeah, I want to get my vajayjay stretched and I'm going to eat some guy's butt? Or a girl's butt. Like, no judgment. I don't know. All right, but that's all I want to say on that. So next thing I want to talk about is the produce. Like, it really is an agenda out here. So as we already know, there's all kinds of GMOs in the produce and all meat, on all food sources now. It's really bad in the meat, poultry, and fish. But they're messing with plants. They're genetically modifying plants, altering the cellular structure of things we need to stay vibrant and healthy. So no shocker. It's been a display of like a wave of Walmart watermelons. Now the watermelon is rich in lycopene. It's rich in, vitamins, minerals. It can do so much for the body. Have your skin glowing. Regulate your body temperature. Keep you regular. There's all I can go on and on and on about the health benefits of a watermelon, but at one point in time, the powers that be, that's how the stereotype of the watermelon came about, because we knew how to grow them, being that some of us came over via slavery, because the rest of us was already here. But for the ones that came over, they bought that knowledge of growing that melon. And the colonizers here, they couldn't keep up with it. They created the demand for it. And so what they wanted to do is they wanted to, misappropriate our likenesses and, turn it into a stereotypical thing like, you're a filthy N-word, hard R, if you enjoy eating these, and used it as a thing to bully us. And we felt shame for many years for enjoying and liking watermelon. And it's refreshing, it's delicious. I don't know too many people that don't like it. So you think our people love a good watermelon, like Asian culture, they love watermelon. Spanish culture, man, they like it too. Throw a little, what that stuff called, some tahini, some chamoy, whatever it's called. But what I want to say about the watermelon, like the watermelon is real low at Walmart's. They're saying they're exploding, and they're saying like they're not even watermelons at all. They don't know, just kind of weird juice and stuff coming out. But again, we're living in the the sensationalized era. So I don't doubt that the quality of the watermelon at Walmart just like much of the produce is not good anyway. Most of it, the majority of the produce at Walmart is genetically modified. Most of it. I don't even think they have an organic section at Walmart. Everything is a flat right price. Like the only thing I would really trust at Walmart is, and then it's hit and miss. It's like the okra, because sometimes they're not even ripe enough to eat. They just put them in there. They ain't even ripe enough to eat. Can't even eat them. It's hit and miss. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It depends if you just get lucky enough to get that good old okra, which is also loaded with, a whole lot of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Or the watermelon. I said what's good to eat at Walmart. They always got the seeded grapes on deck, the globe grapes. I don't know too many Walmarts that don't have the globe grapes. Very good. Grapes is good for your digestion, good for your blood circulation. Keeps you regular. Grapes keep you regular. Like all kinds of health benefits from grapes as well. But the watermelon, I think they're sensationalizing it. I think they're really like overstepping the bounds, trying to hype it up for social media. I think what's just going on is just they don't have good, they're not having any good selection process and housing and storing the watermelon when it comes in there. The whole melons, it's like, so what we're seeing on the internet is they're trying to make it seem that, oh, it's not a melon at all. Look, the smoke and mirrors, like they're taking stuff off it and making it just look plastic and mixed up in the lab. And some of them probably are, but the majority of what's going on is they're just not fresh. Like they're rotten in the store, like they're rotten on arrival. Because most of it is just rancidness. It's not, no smoke and mirrors. It's rancid melon. Like that's what we're seeing on the internet is melons that have reached past their peak. They're not storing it at the correct temp, and they're rancid. And so when you get them home, they don't smell good. When you cut into them, and they smell foul, and they're like milky, and that plasticky, floppy stuff, that's a rancid melon. That's not, rancid melons happen. Like, if you're not storing them properly, not keeping them at the correct temperature, of course, they're going to be rancid. Not keeping them in a cool place. Like the melons is like, if you go into Walmart, they're like in the center of the aisle, like in the center of the produce aisle, and they need to be like, after they've been harvested, they need to be somewhere where they're cool. Like almost, they need a refrigerated bin for the melons. If they're going to have watermelon, you can't keep it sustained like that. So it's hit and miss anyway when you purchase a watermelon from the grocery store. Like the best places to purchase watermelon is like, street vendors. If you live in somewhere like, Florida or California, you want to buy it, at a farmer's market if you can. But it's hit and miss in grocery stores anyway. I think that's my analysis on it. Is, it's good old internet hype. They're getting them clicks and getting them views. It's just rancid watermelon, y'all. That's all it is. It's rancid watermelon. And then we're using terms loosely, but the seeded melons, you're not going to become impotent if you eat a seedless watermelon, if the seeded variety is not available, you'll still derive health benefits. It's just like it became seedless through, cross-pollination. Like, it's just not like you're not going to get any type of health benefit or a weird mutation in your body if you eat a seedless melon. Now, the seeded melon is more healthy for you, better for your body. And of course, you can eat the seeds and gain all kinds of health benefits as well. Watermelon seeds in East African cuisine and Southeast Asian cuisine, like in some parts of the, Central America too. They eat the watermelon seeds in dishes. Jam-packed with a lot of nutrition. But you ain't gonna die if you eat a seedless watermelon. If it's not available, if you can't find seeded, like, you're not gonna die. Unless it's genetically modified. And then if it's genetically modified, when you look at, if you buy it in the store with the barcode label, and like want it something like close in the 9s for your produce. That's how you crack that code. You want, if it's 4, it's partially like genetically modified or something like that. Anything lower than 4 or anything lower is, genetically modified. So you want to get it as close as 9 as possible. 9, 8, 7, you're pushing it. That's all I want to talk about that. But again, following suit with the over sensationalism, how wicked and diabolical the powers that be has made, the allure of doing, insipid jackass stuff to garner attention is at an all-time high. And meaning, just a while ago, it's trending all over again, Brickgate. So the sister that got hit in the face with the brick, she's trending again. It has now been revealed that she was capping. She didn't get hit in the face with a brick at all. It was an allergic reaction. So why did she perpetrate the fraud? To go viral, because she was a content creator. And, the people in that community, they hit the nail on the head. She's an attention seeker. That's why nobody felt sorry for her. And, her little antics is going to ruin it for sisters everywhere, because when a sister gets jumped for real, people are going to be less likely to help out. So yes, we have to defend our women, but sisters, y'all gotta help us defend y'all. You have to maintain femininity and behave ladylike in the face of an aggressor. And a brother will rise to the occasion and protect you. Because I've seen it. I've seen that online. There was a sister a couple years ago. She was pregnant. This is right when, during the pandemic, I believe. And this white dude was sitting up there yelling at her, screaming all kind of obscenities at her. She's pregnant. She didn't argue back and forth with the dude. She even said, "Sir, just leave me alone. I'm trying to go on about my business and, whatever. She wasn't going back and forth with the guy. And then a brother, a OG, he had a little straw hat on. He upped that pipe on him and let him know you ain't playing. It ain't happening here. It ain't going down. You're not going to disrespect this sister. Not in front of me. You're not. You ain't going to touch her. You ain't going to do nothing. And that's the reception all our sisters will get if they're carrying and conducting themselves like a lady not letting that mouth go. Like, some of y'all make it hard to defend y'all and protect you. It's hard to defend you when you're kind of in the wrong when you started the conflict. It's really difficult to defend you when you were the aggressor, when you started it. Now, a man definitely don't got no right or no business putting their hand on a woman, but people are human. And so it's real easy to be cavalier and, masculine and gallant. But, we've all had that weak moment. Like, every single man with a female sibling know he done physically fought his female sibling before. Done passed the lick, hit her, punched her in the back, slapped her, whatever. And any man that said he never is a damn lie. If he had a female sibling growing up, he didn't know no better. Hey, you don't be hitting on no girls. She hit me, mom, dad, she hit me, da-da-da. I don't give a damn, you don't hit no girl, blah, 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 blah. But we've all done it before. When rage overtakes you, you can't do it. In relationships, you love her, you're my queen, you're my goddess. But if your queen or your goddess, for no apparent reason, pours some hot grease on you on top of the stove, some hot grits, throw some hot grits or some hot coffee, then it's a different story, ain't it? It's a whole different story, ain't it? The narrative's a little different then, isn't it? It's a little harder to restrain yourself and behave like a man when stuff like that happens. Dealing with a female, they're going to jig you with a knife, key your car up, cut you, you know what I'm saying? It's a little more difficult then. So ain't nobody perfect. We all make mistakes. On the man's side, on the woman's side, we definitely need to protect sisters. But it's hard to protect y'all when, you behave in a certain manner. Now, as far as this sister goes, like I said, it's been incentivized to reward that type of behavior. Like, that type of behavior garners attention on the internet. People usually level up with that type of behavior, with that type of foolishness. They get their own talk show, they get their own endorsement deal, a food brand, a clothing line, something for behaving like an absolute total idiot on the internet. And it's getting worse, and it's spreading into our sisters, because now we got female content creators doing the pranks. I seen it yesterday. It came through my YouTube feed. I was just watching, just scrolling, and you know how on YouTube it suggests stuff that you might like. So I clicked on it, and I seen this sister. She wasn't even over 5 feet tall. She probably like 4'8", 4'9", little bitty thing. She tried it with this hood dude. She was doing little skits. She done she threw some ice water on a brother. He was on his car, just chilling, minding his own business. He was on his just minding his own business. I think he was on the hood of his car, sitting on the hood of his car or something. And she walked past him. And that was part of the prank, to be rude, to see if she can push his buttons. And he was like, hey, lady, don't talk to me. Don't play with me like that. Da-da-da. Then gave her the warning. And she's like, oh, shut up. Oh, da-da-da-da. And she's still going. And then as she's taunting him and baiting him, each time she's doing it, she's looking at in the camera, smiling and cheesing and kikiing. Like, I'm gonna get him, y'all, I'm gonna get him. Watch this, watch this, watch this. And then out of nowhere, she throws some ice water on the dude, and the dude choked her up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, what the F is wrong with you? She said, it's an accident. And then he choked her up, and then she wriggled away. She said, it's a prank, it's a prank, it's a prank. But one of these days, y'all out there pranking people, you're gonna go viral, all right? You're gonna go viral from the casket. You're gonna go viral for that ER room. So I hope your viral hits is worth it. You get enough to pay your hospital bill, because you're gonna get your little neck broke, your little face broke, playing with the wrong one. It ain't cute at all. Like, leave people alone. And I don't like this new one. People going around with the phone, putting people, like, roasting people with the Snapchat, like, or put people on Snapchat roasting them, talking about their outfits and whatnot from behind. They walk and mind their own business. Like, if you're going to do it to their face. Roast them to their face. They might got some good snapbacks for you. But don't do it behind their back. That's crazy. Like, we just be rewarding foolishness on this internet. All right, so next topic, something that's been trending a lot lately. So we know about the fires over in the islands in Hawaii, Maui, or whatever. Whether you believe it was a natural occurrence, whether you believe it was an energy weapon, what definitely happened is a whole lot of people lost their homes and lost their businesses because of it. And so 2 people coming under fire lately, as of late, is Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, asking people to donate money for the rebuilding of that area. Now, opinions are like buttholes. They stink and everybody got one. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And so with a lot of them, a lot of videos I've seen, I can see people's perspective of calling BS. You know, Oprah is a billionaire, a billionaire. Rock is a millionaire several times over. They own property. Why don't they use money out of their pockets for the relief effort? So I get that. I get that, all the flack. I get everybody's skepticism. Is that a word? Did I say it correctly? Being skeptical of them. And their analysis and delivering their analysis on their efforts to do what they thought was right to help the people in the area. So I had a little time to mull over it. And this is, in my opinion, my unpopular opinion, this is what people should do before they take to the internet offering their unsolicited opinion about something. They should take some time to mull it over and think about it before they post it. Now, you know, first of all, when an entertainer's in the magazine and they say, you know, their net worth is their estimated numbers. This is what they might be worth. If you add up all their assets, it doesn't necessarily mean what they actually have. Their net worth is an estimated figure. It's somewhere in the ballpark of, you might have it if, you know, when you crunch the numbers, their estates, they're this, they're that, they might have it. Do they actually have it liquid? Does she actually have $1 billion liquid? That's what you actually have, your liquid assets. Does he have, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson a millionaire several times over? Does he have his liquid assets over $1 million? Okay, that's what we don't know. And they're never going to disclose it with the general public. And they ain't supposed to. Because for one, don't be watching nobody's pockets. That's one. Worry about your own damn business. You know? Don't watch nobody else's pocket. Worry about your own pockets. That's first and foremost. Now, from the perspective that I'm going to unpack it from is the double standard perspective. Because we're going to sit up here and act like we ain't never had celebrities have these $1,000 a plates fundraisers for the whales, for an endangered species, have these super boring tux and tie affairs for environmental causes. You know, we're not going to sit here and act like Jerry Lewis. Okay, he was a millionaire several times over, but he hosted an annual event every single Labor Day or Memorial Day, the Jerry Lewis Telethon. What was he do? He was asking people that weren't millionaires to donate to the cause. And I think it was like MS, multiple sclerosis, the Jerry Lewis Telethon. I meant to pull that up. What was it for? Punching it up. So Jerry Lewis Telethon was to raise money for multiple MSDS. I can't pronounce it. So you listening to me talk, I can read. I got thick speech. As you can hear, I got a slight lisp. But anyway, for that cause, Sally Struthers in Africa. At that time, she was a millionaire several times over, but she was asking for donations to help for a cause. Because one person can't do it all. Every time something happens within our community, like the go-to people that come through in the clutch is Beyonce and Jay-Z, or Beyonce or Jay-Z, Diddy, Tyler Perry, Oprah. Or a rapper, or some rapper. You know, that'll come through in the clutch. Or some other rapper that'll come through in the clutch. Who else came through in the clutch? T.I., Queen Latifah, Trey the Truth, David Banner, Cube. You know, my point being, Big Killer Mike. My point being, they can't do it all themselves. Now, if I got $1 million and I gave $1 to everybody that needed help, would I be a millionaire anymore? No, I done gave my money away. Now I can't even help my damn self. Make your frustration make sense. Make your frustration make sense, because the angle that I'm looking at it from, Oprah Winfrey, she wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Dirt roads, dirt poor. Moved to Chicago, Illinois. Failure after failure after failure after failure after failure. Then her career finally leveled out for her. She started earning some money. Even during her rise to the top, she was struggling with her weight. The fact that she didn't have a man, couldn't keep a man, struggling with that. Getting talked about this, getting insinuated, her sexuality getting insinuated. Is she gay? Is she straight? All this. Whole time she just minding her own business, getting her money. Now there's many things Oprah Winfrey that I don't agree with. How, the special, always doing the specials about black men. When she didn't let Ice Cube, she let the entire cast of a movie interview the entire cast of a movie that he executively produced and directed, but he wasn't on the show. She had the whole entire cast of Barbershop on her show, but no Ice Cube. She had Beyonce. All the questions were directed at Beyonce. Like Jay couldn't even accompany her if Beyonce wasn't there. She wouldn't have called Beyonce on her show. I don't think Diddy ever been on Oprah. Snoop wasn't never on Oprah. So there's little things that I don't like about her. I don't like the fact that, did all them documentaries about men from our community, but never did no, biopics depicting them in a positive light that empowers and uplifts our men. So that part I don't like. But her as doing for the community, her as being an inspiration for the community, I love what she symbolizes. I love that you can make it, that you can do it. But having said all that to say, with all her money, all her influence to do things, to get things done, she still needs help. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he had humble beginnings as well. Even though his father was a famous wrestler, when it was good, it was great growing up. And then the not so great. So they, with the income levels, he's a brother. He's half Samoan, half black. Now, most Samoans, they identify as black. They know their history. They know they have African roots. But as I say on my platform, original man. So, Dwayne "The Rock," he identifies as an original man. All his cousins, they identify they Samoan, but they identify as original men too. They proud of their Samoan heritage, but they identify as original men, aka black. So this brother, he started his career with $7 in his pocket and became something. Played a little football, became a wrestler. He had to get out of his father's shadow and establish his own identity in that world, and then later on became a pretty good actor. and has done a whole lot of positive things. But because he can't do it, understands, has the common sense to know he can't do it all by himself, ask for help. That's what you do when you know you can't do it all by yourself. You ask for help. Now, was he asking specifically you? Because all the people online that I'm seeing complaining, they're saying we ain't got no money. We can't even. They ain't talking to you. If you can't pay your own bills, they're not talking to you. They might be talking to their own Hollywood elite friends. Do you ever think about that? You just making assumptions. You just assuming they talking about you. You give $1, and then if you do, like, what's $1? What's $5? You're gonna waste $5, $10 anyway. You're gonna waste $5, $10 anyway. You're gonna sit up there, buy some fast food. You might lose it. We got paper currency here in the state. You might mess around, lose $5, $10, $20. Like literally out your pocket. Drop it, forget it, like pull, pay for your whatever you're paying for at the store. Somebody see you drop it, they step on it with their foot. You don't realize that they done stole your money till after you got out the store. But like to say they accuse them of just full on launching a scam when both of them have so many non-profit charitable organizations that they get tax write-offs for that they don't even need to scam nobody for. Like, that's ridiculous. That's not a good argument to say that they're trying to scam the people just based off of that. That they can just help every single body that lives on the island. They can put them up, everybody that got displaced in that fire. They can just, buy them all hotels and temporary lodging, or put them up in their mansion that they got, their properties. So I say to all the people doing these reactionary videos, have y'all done anything for your community? Have you ever given back to and donated to somebody, a charitable organization? Have you even paid for a box of Girl Scout cookies in your life? So don't call out people that can pull out receipts and say things that they've donated to. Things, if you can't do it, you don't need to be talking. So that's all I'm saying, that don't waste your time and energy doing a TikTok, calling them shady, and you ain't never tried to help nobody. Or worse yet, not in the financial position to help somebody. You can't help nobody. You can't even help your damn self. So don't get on social media bashing Rock and Oprah. I don't agree with every teeny tiny thing the sister says. As an original man, she's hurt me a lot with the interviews of our brothers, throwing us under the bus. But I think this most recent attack is kind of unwarranted. Like, if you don't have the financial means to donate for that cause, don't donate it for it. Don't get on the social media complaining about what you can't do just because you can't do it. Right? Just don't do it. That's all. Just don't do it. Yeah, so moral of the story is you can't judge a book by its cover. If you don't have the proper context, you shouldn't speak on it. Again, we sit up here and we reward buffoonish behavior, everybody. So it's very easy to sit behind a keyboard and observe somebody and be super judgmental and judge somebody else's character. But just remember, when you point one finger back at somebody else, three's going to be pointed at you. So while you sitting up there judging, Oprah and The Rock, what can you say you've done for your community? What can you say you've done for your family? What contributions have you made to society? Like, both of them got receipts. Like, The Rock, he literally had shows, a television show. He would, like, meet people and, like, basically, like, make their dream come true. And a lot of that was out of his own pocket. So what can you say you've done? And another thing, one more angle that I want to unpack that from before moving on to my last topic from my speaking section. It's awful funny, the majority of the people doing these reactionary videos to Oprah and The Rock were Caucasian. They had extreme visceral for both of them. They were super disgusted in both of them. They didn't mask it. They didn't hide it. They had a deep disdain for both of them. They had that "how dare you" energy. How dare you, when you have millions of dollars, how dare you ask the common people that have nothing? How dare you, when you're sitting up in that mansion and you're asking people for donations for stuff that you can do? How dare you? Okay. I'm asking them same people with that "how dare you" energy that sit up there and expel their energy to make a video where they're chastising millionaires, a billionaire and a millionaire, that both just happen to be black. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. But they won't use their platforms to point their fingers to our government and say, "How dare y'all? How dare you guys have all these resources?" And you don't help the people that started and developed and built this country. No fingers pointing at them saying, "How dare y'all?" But you point the finger at two people that can pull out the receipts for people that they've helped in our community. Y'all should be quiet. And again, I don't agree with a whole lot of things that Oprah has done. I don't agree about, her perception of original men. When she, about her misusing her platform to, represent us, doing them horrible, horrendous documentaries about our brothers that's entertainers. I don't agree. Pictures of her all hugged up with Harvey Weinstein. I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with how she threw Stedman under the bus. I mean, whatever happens in their relationship, that's their business, but I didn't agree with it. But, but disagreements aside, I think people is really out of their element for criticizing her about that particular instance, especially people outside of our community, especially white people. Yeah. Say "how dare y'all" to our government for the way they treat us. Say "how dare y'all" to law enforcement for how many Emmett Tills, how many Elijah McLarens, how many George Floyds, No backlash for that. No how dare you energy for that. No how dare you energy for Jim Crow, COINTELPRO. No how dare you energy from all these systemic roadblocks and barriers they place in front of our people to keep us in a state of suspended animation. No how dare you energy for that. Okay, my last thing, and off to my very last section of the Narrator podcast I want to touch on. It's just a super quick light bite. McCormick spices. Leave those alone. There's been a national recall on McCormick spices. We don't typically use that in our community anyway. You know, when us and when a PSA to my people right quick. Some of y'all don't know when to damn throw away y'all seasonings, man. If it's clumpy and it's hard, throw it away. Some of y'all, it's 2023. Some of y'all in y'all's pantry got seasonings y'all done had since the 80s. Some of y'all got seasonings y'all done had since the, like 90s, early 90s, mid 90s. When it's clumped up, throw it away. Throw it away. That's what that means when it won't shake out, when it won't pour out the shaker. It's old. It's Reese's expiration date. Throw it away, bruh. Like, in our community, this is one stereotype. It is kind of true. Like, seasonings is like a family heirloom. Like, when somebody, an older person in the family dies, they go right to their pantry and get their seasonings. Like, throw the damn seasonings away, man. When they clump up, it ain't no more good. Like, throw it away, bro. Throw it away. All right, so my next little thing, I guess that was the last thing, but they had a national recall on the McCormick brand. We don't typically use that brand in our community. Like, that's not our go-to brand, but some of us, like, when times get hard, we'll go get that McCormick. Like, you know, when times get hard, we can't get that Tone spices. We'll go mess with the McCormick. Every once in the blue moon, we'll get some McCormick soul seasoning, soul food seasoning. But yeah. So wrap it up on that McCormick. Don't get that. It's been a national recall. It's been like a whole lot of pesticides is found in that. Don't mess with no more McCormick ever again, because like, if it's been recalled, it's never going to be the same ever again. They just caught them. They've been doing it all along. Is just this time, the pesticide levels was so high they had no choice but to recall it. And that's on any food brand. When it's recalled, don't buy it ever again after they recall it, because that means they let the standards drop so low, you can't deny it. All right. So, wrapping it up, y'all. Last section of the Narrator podcast. This section is called the final thought or the final word. And in this section, what I'm doing is, you know, it's something deep, philosophical, something to ponder, a wise word of wisdom, a nugget, a gem, a pearl of wisdom, a nugget, a gem, a pearl of wisdom, you know, whatever you want to call it. Just something to make you ponder and think critically. And I kind of flip back and forth, you know, week to week. Some weeks is word for the day. Sometimes it's final thought of the day.
Yeah.
And final thought is more like a phrase or a saying. And the final word is just how it sounds, just like a word that came to my mind. So today is more of a final thought of the day. Final thought of the day is pace yourself. Take your time, pace yourself. Like, we just are in a hurry to go nowhere, literally. We do everything too fast nowadays. We want everything instantaneously. We want it right out of the box compatible. We want to use it right away. We want to do it right away. Now. Fast. Hurry. Like, literally nobody takes the time to smell the roses anymore. Enjoy sunsets. Nobody takes the time no more. Pace yourself. Like, we even call this thing called life, when we talk about going to work, what do we call it? We call it the rat race. Life's not a race. It's a game, but it ain't a race. We're all going to get to our destination. So while we do, while to carry and conduct ourselves with a sense of urgency, prioritizing things that we need to do, it's not a race. Like, literally slow down, chew your food. This is like a lot of gut health problems, a lot of diseases in the body, a lot of inflammation in the body. You know why? Because a whole lot of your food, you sitting up there just gopping down. You ain't even chewing your food. You letting it, like, whole fragments of food getting caught in your throat, getting caught in your gums, in your teeth, rotting and growing bacteria on it in between your teeth. Because you such in a rush, you get to like me, kind of, sort of. Like, remember that one episode of Good Times when they're around the table eating swine, they're eating ham. John Amos' character tells Jimmy Walker's character, JJ, it's like, slow down, son. It ain't going nowhere. He said, I can't. It's my mind saying slow down, but my stomach's still saying, send it down. Yeah, but like, yeah, man, take your time, chew your food. You're gonna mess around, choke. Savor the flavor. Like, if you're a meat eater, that animal died so you can eat it. Don't just be sitting up there eating like you practicing for competitive eating, which should be outlawed, by the way. Plant-based, you know, eating fresh. Definitely take your time, savor it. It sprung forth from the earth. It's a part of nature, the life force. Savor it. Savor them veggies, savor that fruit. It ain't going nowhere. Take your time. Relationships, definitely take your time. Because when you take time, you can discern things. You can see a problem before the problem actually happens, and you can adjust accordingly. And you don't end up ruining something beautiful because you don't want to take your time. Jobs, take your time. Like, yeah, they got a strict time schedule. Be a conscientious worker. You know, be aware of your surroundings. That's how you cut back on, you know, injuries and stuff. Take your time. Pay attention to what you're doing. We're all going to get to wherever we're going at in life, but we're not going to get there no quicker just because we're moving quicker. We're going to get there. So just take your time and do it right. That's all. And that was the final word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast. And that's a rapper dapper, y'all. That's it and that's all. This episode of the Narrative Podcast is now done. Thank you all for listening. Join me next week for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. I didn't broadcast last week. I didn't do a random live. I may have some time to do a random live next week. I may. Don't hold me to it. Because like I said, I've been trying to fall back to work on my poetry, to be more consistent with my uploads on my personal poetry blog. And I got another Instagram account dedicated just strictly to my poetry. So I've been trying to do daily uploads on that. Just writing them. But yeah. Definitely drafting another book of poetry. I have one available out right now. But yeah. That's it. This episode of the Narrative Podcast is now officially over. So at this point, it's now the plugs. Tell you everything I got going on. So no further ado. Like I already said about poetry, I have a book of poetry titled The Black Card. Right now, the only platform that it's available on is poetizer.com. They have a bookstore. So go to poetizer.com and purchase your copy of my original book of poetry that I've written. It's titled The Black Card. And The Black Card is basically a comprehensive overview of our people and our culture. A survival guide, if you will. It just breaks down our people and our culture in a nutshell, like all our experiences, positive and negative, everything that we bring to the table, everything that we've contributed to civilization. You know, definitely go get it. The Black Card, poetizer.com, the bookstore. Go get it today. Purchase your copy of the Black Card today, or get your Black Card revoked. Also support my poetry blog. I got a personal poetry blog titled hallziespoetrycorner. It's available on blogger.com. The address is www.mrhallziesblogs.com. My tagline is Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one of them, you'll find out why. Basically, it's just a collection of spontaneous poems that I just write in the moment. Like if it was a rap, it would be a freestyle. If I gotta call my style of poetry anything, I would definitely say it's lyric style. Yeah, I got a few more reminiscent of sonnets as well, but I would dare even say I got a few odes, but for the most part it's just like verse poetry. Definitely creative. Check them out on www.mrhallziesblogs.com, on blogger.com, powered by Adam. The way you support it is just go to that link and share the poems on all platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, X, Twitter, whatever you're affluent on, share them. If you have a visual platform like Instagram, YouTube, or something like that, what you would probably want to do is just shout it out, give a bruh shout out, the poem that you like, or the link, whatever, for the visual platforms. I don't know the community guidelines for that, but if it shouldn't violate no community guidelines. So you should be good with YouTube, you should be good with Instagram. I don't think you would be violating no spammer line, shouting out a brother's poetry. But yeah, for the visual, how to share it visually on the visual platforms. But Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever you're affluent on, share poems from Halsey's Poetry Corner. I got a whole lot more stuff that I'm working on. I just don't feel like sharing that until I've actually in the finishing stages. But all the other stuff I just named is in the finishing stages. That's why I share it every week. So, just thanks everybody for listening. Thank you for supporting me. Oh, and by the way, download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. That's how you keep this going, is to download all the episodes. So wherever you get your podcast from, make sure you're downloading the Narrative Podcast hosted by me, Halsey Allen, because there's a whole lot of different narrative podcasts. So to make sure you got the right one, make sure it's by me, Halsey Allen. What else? So yeah, go on, hit that up. Yeah, that's all I got going on. Oh yeah, for the lives, to ensure you don't miss me when I go live, what you want to do is follow me on YouTube or X, Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. So for the YouTube, subscribe to my viewer channel. I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. Subscribe and then click the notification bell. You'll never miss an upload, because all my episodes upload directly to YouTube. Because I got, my YouTube account linked to this account that I broadcast. And then also on Twitter. And that's how you will never miss me when I'm live. But I've plugged everything I got going on. So definitely tune in for me next week for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. I do that. Been doing that every single weekend without fail. I'll announce it if something ever changes, if I ever not go do a full episode. But definitely tune in all throughout the weekday, because I may go live next week. I may not. I'm saying may, so I'm not promising. But I told you where to check for me when I do. But that's it, and that's all. That's all I got for this episode. Thanks for listening. It's Halsey Allen signing off. I'm a narrator, changing the narrative one episode at a time. And if you're listening to that, I've now recruited you and you're now inducted to become a narrator. And I'm asking you that you help me change the narrative as a narrator, one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.